What if I told you this story is much bigger than it looks? If I told you that Australia might be preparing a brand new emergency fund for seniors and that a major leak has just come out about it, would you believe it? That's exactly what has happened, and today we're going to break down everything inside that leak, what it means, who could get the payment, when it might be announced, and whether this fund is actually real or just another rumour. Because if you're a senior living on the age pension or holding a senior's health card, this update could directly affect you. So make sure you listen until the very end, because every part of this story matters, and trust me, what comes next might surprise you even more. Now here's where things start getting interesting. The leak came from an internal Centrelink memo that mentions something surprising. The Australian government is reviewing an emergency support package for low-income seniors. That single sentence was enough to spark massive reaction across social media. People started asking, is this a new one-time payment? Is the government planning some special support because of the cost of living crisis? Or is this simply paperwork that may never turn into real payments? If you want updates the moment they drop, make sure you stay tuned because these leaks are unfolding fast. And this memo, it was only the beginning. But the real twist is hidden in the next part of the leak. According to the memo, the government recently asked Centrelink to complete a financial vulnerability assessment specifically for older Australians. And here's the important part. Governments usually ask for this type of assessment only when they're preparing to launch a new financial support measure. It could be a supplement, a grant, a one-off assistance payment, or even a new temporary allowance. So the leak doesn't confirm the fund, but it does confirm that something is happening behind closed doors, and what's behind those closed doors might be bigger than anyone expected. Now, why would the government be considering an emergency fund for seniors? Because right now, the financial pressure on older Australians is at its highest level in more than a decade. Groceries, medications, rent, power bills, everything has gone up. Seniors on fixed incomes are being hit the hardest. Even though the government has already provided cost of living payments, energy relief, and age pension indexation, the leak shows a clear statement. Older Australians are experiencing the highest financial stress since 2008. That line alone explains why the Prime Minister's team is reviewing new support options. They don't want seniors choosing between food, medication, and bills. And if that pressure keeps rising, what happens next may push the government to act even faster. Inside the leaked document, two possible structures for this emergency fund were discussed. Option 1 is a one-time emergency payment, possibly between $250 and $500, designed to give immediate relief to low-income seniors. Option 2 is a temporary monthly top-up payment that could last for around 3 months, or until inflation drops to safer levels. No final amount was confirmed in the leak, but the message behind the discussion was clear. Seniors should not be left without a safety cushion during unpredictable financial situations. But the real surprise is how these options hint at something much bigger happening behind the scenes. So now the big question, who would actually get this payment if it becomes official? Based on the language in the memo, the likely eligible groups include age pension recipients, Commonwealth Seniors Health Card holders, low-income self-funded retirees, seniors receiving rent assistance, and older Australians whose income falls below certain government thresholds. Centrelink already uses income and asset tests for most payments, so it's very likely the same rules would apply here. And once you see who might qualify, the next part becomes even more important. Another question people are asking is, when could this emergency fund be announced? The leak doesn't give a date, but it presents two realistic possibilities. The first possibility is an announcement before the next federal budget. Sometimes, the government announces senior-related support early to manage public expectations. The second and much stronger possibility is that this emergency fund will be officially introduced inside the upcoming budget. Budgets traditionally include pension updates, cost of living measures, and new support packages, making it the perfect time to reveal something like this. And if the timing plays out the way insiders expect, the next announcement could catch everyone off guard. But is this guaranteed? Not yet. A leak doesn't mean approval. It only confirms that the government is discussing the idea, reviewing data, and examining whether seniors need emergency support right now. However, here's what is absolutely certain. The Australian government is actively considering new financial relief for seniors. And given the current economic situation, this makes perfect sense. Still, one critical factor could decide whether this becomes real or stays on paper. The reaction from senior communities and advocacy groups has been mostly positive. Many have said that the age pension is too tight, rent and medical expenses have risen sharply, and most seniors don't have enough savings to handle sudden emergencies. They believe an emergency fund would create a critical safety net for millions of older Australians who are living week to week on fixed incomes. And the louder these voices get, the more pressure the government faces to act. Right now, you don't need to apply for anything. There is no registration, no form, and no early sign-up. Centrelink hasn't issued any instructions. But if this emergency fund becomes real, there's a very high chance the payment will be automatic, just like previous cost of living bonuses. What you should do is simple. Make sure your age pension or seniors card details are updated, your bank account information is correct, your MyGov is active, and any income reports you submit are done on time. Keeping your details up to date ensures you won't miss out if an automatic payment goes through. And keeping your details ready now might save you from missing out later. So after everything revealed in the leak, where do we stand? Is Centrelink really preparing an emergency fund for seniors? The most honest answer is this. The idea is real, the discussions are real, the assessment is real, and the government is clearly exploring new support for older Australians. Whether it becomes official will likely be decided in the upcoming budget or through a pre-budget announcement. But considering how tough things are for seniors right now, the chances of some kind of new support being approved are much higher than usual, and the decision they make next could change everything for millions of seniors. As soon as there is any update, whether the emergency fund gets approved, changed, delayed, or expanded, I'll bring it to you immediately. Make sure you stay connected, because this story is far from over, and the next announcement could be the one that confirms everything. And when that moment comes, it might be the update everyone has been waiting for.